watching Reddit Troll.
Those who basically live out of hotels due to work travel, what's the best and worst part of it? I spend 20 to 25 days a month in hotels. The best, I get put up in some upper scale hotels and the beds and blackout curtains are usually excellent. When you're in hotels as much as I am, the importance of a great bed and blackout curtains cannot be understated. Everything else is icing on the cake. The worst, as others mentioned, maintaining a nutritious diet. I have a list of every grocery store, food co-op, and natural foods store for every city. I go there instead of eating out. I also make it a point to exercise for every day I'm on the road. Best is having half your day with more or less guaranteed complete absence of any responsibility. Worst is the same. As often as not, you probably still won't have sufficient time to go out and see the city you're in, either because you ended up working too late, or you know you have to be up at dawn the next day, or both. And everything you want to see can be up to an hour away each way. So often you have just enough time to need to find ways to kill, but not enough to actually do anything you want to do. It becomes harder and harder to eat properly, and when you have the kind of time crunch mentioned above, you'll find yourself eating for recreation because it's the only pleasure you have time for. You'll tell yourself you'll use the hotel gym, but you won't. You'll go for a jog around the blocks near the hotel a few times until it becomes too cold to bother. You're going to gain weight, and spend most of your spare time sitting in the hotel bar and reading. You won't be unhappy per se, but the more you do it, the more it is going to feel like a dull, quiet purgatory. Best would be free room service, so eventually you get a bit lazy. Free breakfast is nice along with those little perks like a gym, pool and jacuzzi. Some even have a sauna. These things are nice but eventually get boring. The views are nice, plus you get to meet new people. But bad. Some hotels are pretty nasty, or the ones who allow pets don't have anything against them, will have dogs or random birds chirping/barking away all hours of the day. The loneliness hits hard if you have family waiting back home. The cable, although somewhat good, gets pretty dull. I always lose at least one sock. How? I have no idea, especially if some beds are closed underneath. Eating out constantly hits hard on both your stomach and your wallet. For this reason I tend to go to a grocery store and buy basics so I can make myself something throughout the week. Watch out though, because the fridges are small, and if you put your temp for the fridge anything over 7, congrats, you get ice everything. The best part about it is if you are in a hotel, you're far enough away from home, you most likely are somewhere unfamiliar. You get to see new places and see the world. The worst part is eating literally anything while traveling becomes disgusting over time, especially if you are in the middle of nowhere and your best option for not gas station is McDonald's, across the street from the gas station. I've pretty much gotten to the point where I am always booking hotels at the same chain, because the room looks the same everywhere. I can go, mostly, anywhere in the country, a rundown port town, a rural area with tons of cows, a downtown area with insane traffic, cargo trains in the night, doesn't matter. But for a second, I can close my eyes and dissolve outside my room door and I'm back in my room. It's so similar that it feels familiar, enough that I can delude myself that all those rooms are the same place. Might sound stupid, but it's the difference between waking up at night and freaking out because I don't know what state I'm in, and waking up and thinking, oh, I'm in my room. And best, I have an expense card for meals etc. when I travel, so there's very little personal cost. My company is somewhat relaxed about it, so I usually get dinner at decent places. It's a great way to see parts of the world I never would have visited otherwise, and I've found some really amazing places. Lately I've been staying in Airbnbs, which just adds to the experience. They are usually in more residential areas, so you pick up more of the culture. Worst, kills your social life, if you aren't careful. Your friends invite you to stuff and you have to say that you can't make it because you'll be out of town. Once that happens 4 or 5 times, you stop getting the invites. I've had budding relationships where my travel and the other person's schedule didn't line up, so you can't see each other often enough to build up chemistry. I've had existing relationships where my then girlfriends would get paranoid about the travel, which just adds unneeded stress to life for both people. I used to do it every other week for work. Best parts: not having to pay for anything. Coming back every day to a clean room. Loyalty points equals free rooms for personal travel. Plus status. My employer lets me pay for work expenses with a personal credit card, and get reimbursed. So many credit card points. Between flights, hotel, car, food, etc., I was spending about $2,000 per trip, and since it all falls under dining or travel expenses, getting about 6,000 Chaser points on my CSR card every other week. Worst parts: Wi-Fi is hit or miss. Ditto for TV channel selections, and the first point means streaming what you want isn't always a possibility. I found that it wasn't too difficult to eat healthy for lunch or dinner at restaurants if I wanted to, but breakfast was the tough one. I'm usually content with a bowl of cereal for breakfast. No restaurant serves that. And I wasn't stopping at a grocery store to buy a gallon of milk and box of cereal after landing at 9 p.m. Sunday night, so it was always a pastry, bagel, sandwich, etc., from Panera, Einstein's, etc. for breakfast. Not hotel related, but air travel is always a pain in the ass. I stay in a hotel 4 to 5 days a week, but at the same hotel 95% of the time. The staff all know me by name and I know most of them as well, and they're all amazing. It's like having another family and I've always enjoyed that aspect of it. I get to stay in my room every week with a full kitchen, so no eating out every night. The only downside to that is having to clean out the fridge every week when I go home. Sometimes you don't finish a meal or have leftover ingredients, and they go to waste a lot. Free breakfast in the morning is great, and the host always mixes up the menu day to day so it doesn't get boring. Another small complaint is the internet is often spotty, especially after 8 p.m. when most guests are checked in. Staying so often also means that I rack up tons of hotel points, so when we go on vacation we always have free rooms, and any leftover at the end of the year can be cashed out for Amazon gift cards. I got $600 in cards last year. It's tough being away from my wife and daughter, but they come and stay with me when it's possible. Honestly, it's not too bad. I've worked on the road for about 12 years and this is the best it has been. I am a 27-year-old engineering consultant and I have been traveling 50 to 75 nights a year for the last 3 years. Here are my top pros and cons. Pros: loyalty programs, airline miles and hotel points. My company does not have a corporate CC, so I am able to put around $1.50 to $2,500 on my personal cards for a week-long domestic trip and get it reimbursed next paycheck. This amounts to something like $30,000 a year of organic spend. Great if you are a CC churner. I pay very little for my own personal vacations and get upgraded on flights about 80% of the time. Upgraded to better rooms/suites regularly. Eat and drink for free in airline lounges. I could see this getting old after a while, but I am still young and enjoy the travel perks. New places: usually it is just fly in, work 10 to 12 hour days, fly home, but if the location I am working in is somewhere I have not been or unique, I try to tack on an extra night or two and hit the town. Sometimes I will sign up for an Airbnb experience and meet locals. Made some great friends this way and have had some wild nights. Traveling and meeting people has never been easier. Cons: lack of routine. It takes a great amount of discipline to bring your gym clothes/running shoes and stuff it in your carry-on and then actually follow through with exercise. And when you do bring the gear, it is easy to justify not working out if you are going out to restaurants with clients and co-workers the whole week. Much easier to get into a healthy exercise, eating, well-being routine when you are home for several weeks in a row and can get into a solid rhythm. Unhealthy: sitting in airplanes, eating quick airport food, working long hours, jet lag, not exercising, and sleeping poorly all add up. When you see other middle-aged business travelers in the airport, the majority of them do not look healthy. Overall, I think the pros outweigh the cons for me at this point in my life. I do not have many family commitments tying me down, and I like traveling. Trying to make better travel habits and discipline myself to eat healthier and